Hey guys, how you going? Hope you're all doing very well. This afternoon I'm going to be doing yet another movie review. This movie is a crime thriller from France, French language English subs, released in the year 2015, directed by Julien Leclerc, and this film is called The Crew. So The Crew is about a group of armed robbers who are legendary. Their level of precision is second to none, and the authorities are trying to find them, but they evade capture. So it's basically got the attention of the public of France, and they're seen as an almost, otherworldly figures. So they've just robbed an armoured van that has a cargo that set them up for life, but unfortunately they can't live the high life they want because there is a mistake that is made by one of the younger crew members that infuriates a crime lord. Now the crime lord tells the head of this crew that he wants this younger one dead, but he will spare this younger one's life for the mistake he made if they accept the job that the crime lord wants them to do. And what that job is robbing a cargo of heroin. Now this is very, very dangerous. The armed robbers don't like to have anything to do with drugs, but in order to save this younger member's life, the head of the crew says, okay, we'll do it, and they reluctantly go into planning. But unfortunately, as they're planning, things come unstuck that threatens to not only destroy their reputation, but their lives as well. So whether or not it does is something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with my synopsis. Now my thoughts on The Crew. Julien Leclerc is a director that I haven't known for long, but it's a director that has really, really impressed me. And I watched a film called Earth and Blood that I reviewed not long ago. It's a 2020 film. And what I was really struck by is how Julien Leclerc creates characters you could really relate to within such a short space of time. You got a lot of these epic movies that fail to do so because they go into sob stories, they go into melodrama, and it's stuff that you can't relate to. But what Julien Leclerc did so well in Earth and Blood was that he gave you characters that you can relate to. It didn't need a side story. It's just everyday people that I thought had no arrogance, had no sense that they're better than you as a viewer, and so for that you could really go on the journey with them. And so that's all you need to do, and it's not rocket science as far as making likable characters. Just make them likable. You don't have to have, I feel sorry for you. When you've got these characters that you feel sorry for, you don't necessarily like them, but because of the sob story that the directors try and give you, that is almost compensation for giving you a character that is realistic. And so Julien Leclerc creates realistic characters within a runtime that's very short, and it knows exactly what it wants to be. It wants to be a fun film, and if it has a very short runtime and too much of a sob story, it really gets in the way of that entertainment. And so that's something Julien Leclerc understood in Earth and Blood, the level of entertainment, the type of film that he wanted to create. So for that reason, I thought, all right, The Crew might be an interesting film to check out. It was another very short movie, so what was I in for? And what I got from this film was another very, very fun experience. It's an experience that demonstrates all the qualities that made Earth and Blood so good, and that is likability within the people in a very, very bad situation. These are characters and individuals that are in a world that is very foreign to me. In the underworld you associate with bad people. These are people that were doing bad things, but they had that relatable quality to everyday people. So I really went, once again, on the journey with them. I never thought as though they reveled in their notoriety as far as their reputation is concerned. I always thought they were doing things because they wanted to better their lives individually. So you get these movies, gangster films, that really glorifies the lifestyle, but this movie and Earth and Blood, it didn't glorify that lifestyle. It showed you desperate people in a desperate situation within a very, very corrupt world, and a world that will eat you whole if you make one mistake. And ultimately that's what The Crew demonstrates, is that they are on top of the world, their reputation is legendary, and they seem almost untouchable, but one simple mistake and all of a sudden they're very vulnerable, and those vulnerabilities come through, and it makes them that indestructible sense that you get at the start of the film has been completely torn away, and the vulnerabilities make them very vulnerable to the attacks that are coming upon them. And so that does create suspense. I thought the choreography as far as action is concerned once again was very, very impressive, and these Earth and Blood and The Crew wouldn't work as well if it wasn't for the main actor. Now, he acted in Earth and Blood and he acted in this film, and that is Samy Bouajila. Now, he is quickly becoming one of my favourite actors. He has a certain level of charisma. He has that vibe about him that is really, really relatable and really, really likeable, but he has an air of intimidation about him. So I always thought as though he was a very authentic individual. He was a guy that was in this world, but I got the glimpse of a very likeable person. And Samy Bouajila, he creates really interesting characters in his performances. And so I think as as though, you know, the partnership between Julien Leclerc and Semi Boagila is very, very strong, and they really work well with each other, and it just gives you that authentic vibe. So it's a violent film. It's not as violent as Earth and Blood, but it still has the violence that, you know, it promises as far as a crime thriller is concerned. And I thought, as though, as I said, the 70-odd minute runtime, I thought, all right, well, they're trying to fit a little bit too much in, but because when the director throws the twists and turns in, they're not in-depth twists and turns, so it never distracts you from what it wants to be, and what it wants to be is a crime thriller, and I thought as though it really achieved what it set out to do. And so that was a very, very impressive, and as I said, Julien Leclerc is a director that I'm really, really looking out for. I've got another film of his that I haven't seen yet called The Bouncer with Jean-Claude Van Damme. I have to check that out because these other films that I've watched of his have just demonstrated how good a director he is. He can create really good set pieces of choreography as far as action is concerned, but he can create a level of drama that is authentic to really put you into the shoes of these people and really sympathise with the plight of people in a very, very bad world. But it showcases that, you know, these people who are drawn into this world might not necessarily be bad people to start with, but it's the desperate situation and circumstances that they're facing that has turned them into these people. And so that makes it interesting, and the quality to these characters I thought was expertly done. It's incredibly self-aware, and for that it really does strike a home run. I thought it was really, really entertaining. If I have a problem with the film, as I said, it's not in-depth enough to be a soul-crunching film, but it's still a film that I thought I got a lot more out of than I first expected. So if you like crime thrillers, Julien Leclerc's films are definitely worth checking out. I'm going to give The Crew 3.5 stars. Alright guys, that's it for my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, keep watching movies, and I'll see you later.